The sky above Talara Prime burned with red streaks as Lieutenant Marcus Hale's ship tore through the clouds. Smoke poured from the engines. Alarms blared. The controls sparked under his hands, but he held on, gritting his teeth. There was no other choice. He had to crash. "Come on, girl. Just hold together a little longer," he whispered to the ship. His fingers flying over the console, he aimed for the dense jungle below, trying to avoid the mountains. The ship groaned, hit the trees hard, and finally slammed into the muddy earth with a violent crash. Silence followed. Marcus coughed as smoke filled the cabin. His head throbbed. Blood dripped from a cut on his forehead. But he was alive. Somehow he had made it. Dragging himself out of the wreck, he scanned the jungle. The green was thick, humid, and alive with strange sounds. The air smelled of damp leaves and distant fire. Talara Prime had once been a peaceful colony. Now it was abandoned, left behind after the machines attacked. He checked his gear. One broken rifle. A working beacon with no signal.
A few
emergency rations. He was alone, or so he thought. That night, as he searched for shelter near a cave, he heard a noise, a faint cry, then another. Not animal sounds. Children. He raised his weapon and moved slowly inside the cave. His heart pounded. Shadows moved. Then a small face appeared. Then another. Alien children. They were small, thin, with wide glowing eyes and soft blue skin. Their clothes were torn and their faces were tired and scared. The oldest one, a girl, stepped forward. She held a sharp rock in one hand like a weapon. "Who are you?" she asked in broken English. Marcus slowly lowered his gun and knelt. "My name is Marcus. I'm human. I won't hurt you." They stared at him. The girl didn't move, but she didn't attack either. "I crashed here. I'm stuck," he said gently. "Are you alone?" "Are you alone?" A younger boy stepped forward, holding on to her arm. "No adults. Just us." They didn't make it. Marcus felt a weight in his chest. These kids were survivors. Somehow they had been hiding all this time, alone in a jungle filled with danger. Machines were still out, their robotic hunters left behind from the war. "You've been hiding here all this time?" Marcus asked. The girl nodded. "We run. We hide. We don't make fire. They find us if we do." He looked around the cave. They had made small sleeping spots with leaves, some food gathered from the forest. They were smart, brave, but they wouldn't survive forever. "You don't have to be afraid anymore," Marcus said. "I'll protect you." The girl's eyes narrowed. "Why?" He paused. He didn't know the answer himself. He was a soldier, trained to follow orders, not babysit alien children. But in that moment, looking into their scared eyes, something in him changed, because it's the right thing to do. She looked at him for a long moment. Then she lowered her rock. Cora. That night, Marcus stayed in the cave with them, shared his food, fixed a broken device with help from one of the kids, Rin, who was good with tech. They laughed once, a small, weak laugh, but it was real. For the first time in days, the children slept without fear. And for the first time in a long time, Marcus felt like he had a real purpose. He didn't know what tomorrow would bring. He didn't know how long they could survive. But he knew this. He wouldn't leave them. Not now. No matter what came next, he would fight for them. The next morning, the jungle awoke with strange sounds, buzzing wings, rustling leaves, and distant echoes that didn't feel natural. Marcus Hale stood at the edge of the cave, holding a piece of metal shaped like a blade. He hadn't slept much. His eyes kept scanning the treetops. Inside the cave, the children were waking up slowly. Cora, the oldest, stretched and checked the others. Rin was still asleep, hugging an old damaged datapad. The younger ones, barely 5 or 6 in Earth years, huddled together, still afraid of every noise. Marcus had seen war. He had lost friends, in space battles, and on planets burned by machines. But this was something different. These weren't just victims. These kids were survivors. He walked back inside and gave out pieces of dried food from his emergency pack. The rations were small. but they were better than the strange berries the children had been eating. "You don't have to eat jungle food today," he said with a smile. One of the smallest kids, a boy with big golden eyes, looked up at him. "Staying?" Marcus nodded. "I told you, I'll protect you. We'll survive together." Cora watched him. Her eyes were older than her age. She had seen too much. "You're a soldier. Soldiers leave." Marcus sat down beside her. "Not this one. Not anymore." That day, he started working. He used parts from his crashed ship to build traps around the cave, sharp sticks hidden in leaves, wires that would set off loud noises if touched. He even turned a broken engine coil into a heat sensor to detect movement near the cave. The kids watched him with curiosity. Some helped. Rin, the tech-loving boy, asked questions about every tool Marcus used. Cora helped organize the smaller ones, showing leadership beyond her years. In the evening, Marcus gathered them around a small hidden light and told them stories. Not stories of war, but stories of earth, of snow, of oceans, of laughter and warm food. The children listened, eyes wide, forgetting their fear if only for a little while. "Do humans have families like us?" one girl asked. Marcus smiled. "Softly, yes. We argue, we love, we protect each other, just like you." A quiet peace settled in the cave that night. The children curled up beside each other, finally feeling something close to safe. But danger was never far. Around midnight, Marcus heard a soft clicking sound outside. He grabbed his makeshift blade and moved silently to the cave's entrance. There it was. A scout drone, small, floating, its eyes glowing red in the dark. It scanned the area, hovering close to the ground. The trap hadn't caught it, it was too light. Marcus crouched behind a tree, heart racing. Da-da-da-da. If the drone reported back, more would come. Deadly machines. Killers. These children didn't stand a chance. He waited until the drone turned slightly, then pounced. His blade cut through its sensor before it could scream. The drone sparked, twitched, and fell to the ground. Marcus dragged it into the trees and covered it with dirt and leaves. He returned to the cave, breath heavy. Cora was awake, staring at him. "Was it one of them?" she whispered. He nodded. "It's gone now, but we have to be ready. They'll come back." Shh. Didn't cry. Instead, she walked up to him and placed her small hand on his arm. "You didn't have to do that." "Yes, I did," Marcus said. "Because you matter. All of you do."
God.
In that quiet moment, something shifted. He wasn't just a stranger anymore. He was one of them now. A protector, a friend, a human who had found something worth fighting for, not with weapons, but with heart. And the war for survival was just beginning. Days passed. The jungle around the cave grew quieter, but Marcus knew it wasn't a good sign. The machines were watching, waiting. Somewhere out there, more drones were searching. The silence felt heavy, like the calm before a storm. Marcus sat with Rin inside the wrecked cockpit of his broken ship. The boy was helping him repair the old data pad that came from the crashed drone. They had been working on it for hours, trying to unlock its memory. "We're in," Rin whispered. The screen blinked to life. Lines of alien code flashed. Marcus tapped the controls and frowned. The drone had been receiving commands not from a local source, but from a hidden base deep inside the jungle. "They're not just hunting survivors," Marcus said quietly. "They're getting orders. That means someone or something is still controlling them." Rin's face turned pale blue. "Will they come for us?" "Yes," Marcus said honestly. "But now we know where they're coming from." The cave. Marcus gathered Cora and told her what he found. She listened without blinking. "We can't wait here forever," he said. "I have to find that command post. If I can destroy it, the drones might stop." "You'll go alone?" Cora asked, her voice quiet. "Yes. It's too dangerous." She looked at the younger kids. "And if you don't come back?" Marcus placed a hand on her shoulder. "Then you stay strong, just like you've always been." Before sunrise, Marcus packed a small bag, took the broken drone's core, and slipped into the jungle. The children watched from the shadows, eyes full of worry. None spoke. The journey was long. Hot winds blew through the trees. Strange creatures moved in the distance. Twice he had to hide from patrol drones flying low. After hours of walking, he reached a deep valley hidden behind thick vines. There it was, a small command station, silver and sharp, built into a rock wall. Machines moved around it, their red lights glowing in the dark. It was old, possibly abandoned by its creators, but still working. Marcus crawled through the trees and reached the edge of the cliff above the base. He studied the structure and found a power core near the back and guarded. "This is it," he whispered. "One good blast, and it all ends." He attached a homemade explosive device made from his ship's energy cell. As he set the timer, a noise startled him. Small gasp. He turned. His heart dropped. Rin was standing behind him. "Rin, what are you doing here? I followed you," the boy whispered. "I didn't want you to be alone," Marcus was. Torn between anger and fear. "It's too dangerous." Before he could argue more, alarms rang out. A drone had spotted them. Marcus grabbed Rin's hand and ran. They jumped from rock to rock as the machine fired behind them. "Go back," Marcus shouted, pushing Rin behind a fallen log. The drone got closer. Just before it fired again, the explosion hit. The command post burst into flames. A wave of heat and smoke rose into the sky. The power core was destroyed. The drone froze, twitched, then fell like a broken toy. Marcus coughed, holding Rin close. His arm was burned. Blood ran down his side. But he was alive, and the jungle was quiet again. They limped back to the cave, step by slow step. When they arrived, the children ran to them, crying with joy. Cora helped Rin, while two others helped Marcus sit. "You did it," Cora said. Her voice filled with something new, hope. Marcus smiled weakly. "We did it. Together." As night fell, the stars above Tellura Prime seemed brighter. They had won a small battle, but more would come. Still, for now, they had peace. And more than that, they had each other. The jungle seemed calm for a few days. Birds chirped again. The air felt lighter. The children laughed more often. For the first time in weeks, they played outside the cave gathering berries, chasing insects, and even singing songs from there. Home planet Marcus watched them with a small smile, his arm wrapped in bandages from the mission. It was healing slowly, but inside he felt stronger. These children gave him a reason to fight. A reason to live, but peace didn't last. Late one evening, Rin noticed something strange on the scanner they had built, using parts from the broken drone. The blinking light, once steady, was now flashing wildly. "Something's coming," he whispered. Marcus stood beside him and stared at the screen. Multiple signals, dozens of them. Not one, not too many drones were moving in their direction. "They found us," Marcus said quietly. "All of them." Cora looked up. Her voice was calm but serious. "Then we fight." That night they prepared. Marcus showed the children how to help set the traps nets made from vines. Holes covered with leaves, sharpened sticks hidden in the ground. He gave Cora the flare gun from his survival kit. Rin carried the remote that could trigger a hidden blast from the last energy cell. It wasn't much, but it was all they had. As darkness fell, the jungle went silent. Then came the sound metal. Scraping, low hums, red lights moving through the trees. The children were quiet in the cave, weapons in hand, hearts racing. The first drone stepped into a trap. A sharp vine pulled it into the air where it sparked and shut down. Another was buried in a pit, but more kept coming. They swarmed the clearing, firing lasers into the trees. Marcus jumped out from cover and slashed through one drone with a sharp metal pole. "Cora, signal now," he shouted. She fired the flare into the sky. It lit up the jungle with a bright red glow. Rin hit the remote. A loud explosion shook the ground, throwing 3 drones into the air. Shockwaves sent leaves flying and trees shaking, but the machines kept coming. One drone aimed at the cave entrance. Like a young child screamed. Marcus ran full speed and stood. In front, shielding the entrance with his body, the laser hit him in the shoulder. He fell back, gritting his teeth in pain, but he didn't move. He stood again, holding the line. Suddenly Cora appeared beside him, throwing a rock that smashed the drone's sensor. More children joined in throwing rocks, hitting machines with sticks. It wasn't strength, it was courage, it was unity. And then the machines stopped. All at once they froze. The red lights blinked, then turned off. One by one, they fell to the ground, lifeless. Silence returned. Marcus looked around, breathing heavily. The traps had worked. The children had fought bravely. Together, they had survived the siege. He dropped to his knees, exhausted. Blood ran down his arm. Cora rushed to him. "You're hurt," she said, trying to stop the bleeding. "I'll be fine," Marcus whispered. "We're alive. That's what matters." The children slowly stepped out of the cave, looking around at the wrecked drones, the crushed branches, the signs of battle. But instead of fear, they felt pride. They had protected their home. Later that night, under the stars, they lit a small fire for the first time in weeks. They sat together, tired but smiling. Marcus leaned back against a rock, Cora beside him. Rin, on the other side. "We're not just survivors anymore," Cora said. "We're warriors." Marcus looked at her and nodded.
Ow.
"And no matter what comes next, we face it together." In the deep jungle of a forgotten moon, a new family had been born. For the first time in weeks, the stars above Tellera Prime looked calm. The children slept peacefully inside the cave, huddled together like a real family. Their faces, once full of fear, now showed a quiet strength. Marcus sat just outside the entrance, wounded arm wrapped in cloth, his back resting against the cave wall. He looked up at the sky and pressed a small button on his repaired beacon. This was the third signal he'd sent since arriving on the moon. He didn't know if anyone heard it. Maybe no one was coming. Maybe they were truly alone. But then, soft beep. Marcus sat up quickly. The light on his beacon turned green. A signal not from the machines. Not a trap. It was Earth Fleet. A human voice crackled through the speaker. "This is Captain Reyes of the Orion-class vessel Silverwatch. We received your distress call. Who is this?" Marcus could barely believe. His voice shook as he answered. "This is Lieutenant Marcus Hale. I'm on Tellera Prime with survivors Teller and children. We need immediate extraction." There was a long pause. "Then copy that, Lieutenant," preparing for descent. Relief washed over him like a wave. He ran into the cave and woke Cora and Rin. "We're going home," he whispered, smiling. The next morning, the Earth Fleet shuttle broke through the clouds. It landed in a small clearing near the crash site. The children stared in awe. Had never seen a ship like that before. Clean, shining metal. It's a symbol of Earth. The ramp lowered. Soldiers stepped out. A tall woman with silver hair walked forward, Captain Reyes. Her eyes fell on Marcus, then on the children behind him. "You weren't kidding," she said. "You've been through a war." Marcus nodded. "They're all that's left." Reyes signaled her crew. Medical teams rushed in to help. The children were given food, water, warm blankets. Some cried. Some just stared. Rin hugged Marcus and refused to let go until they boarded the shuttle together. But just as they thought it was over, a problem appeared. Inside the ship, Marcus overheard two officers arguing. "These aren't humans," one said. "We can't bring alien refugees to Earth without permission." Marcus stepped forward. "They're children, innocent. They deserve protection." A man in uniform looked at him sharply. "It's not your call, Lieutenant. Orders are orders." Marcus's hands clenched into fists. He took a deep breath. Then, "Change the orders," he said firmly. "I didn't risk my life to leave them behind. If they're not allowed on the ship, then neither am I." Captain Reyes raised an eyebrow. "You're willing to disobey command over this?" "I'm not disobeying," Marcus said. "I'm doing what's right." At that moment, Cora stepped forward. She held up a small device, a recording crystal. It had been collecting video during the past weeks. She pressed a button. Holograms appeared. Marcus fighting drones, helping the children, protecting them, bleeding for them. The room went silent. The crew watched every second. The story unfolded not in words, but in images of bravery, kindness, and sacrifice. Captain Reyes looked at her officers. Send this footage to Earthfleet Command, now. Hours later, a message came from High Command, permission granted. The children were granted asylum. Marcus was ordered to return with them, not as a soldier, but as a guardian. As the ship rose into the stars, Cora sat beside Marcus, holding his hand. You kept your promise, she said softly. Marcus smiled. I always will. Above the burning moon they once feared, a new chapter had begun, not one of war, but of hope. The journey to Earth took 3 long days. The children were given soft beds, real food, and medical care. For many, it was the first time they felt truly safe. Marcus stayed with them the whole time. Even though his wounds were healing, he spent most nights awake, watching over them like a quiet guardian. Cora would sit beside him sometimes, both of them looking out the window at the stars. I never thought I'd see space like this again, she whispered. Neither did I, Marcus replied, smiling. But peace didn't last long. When the ship entered Earth's orbit, it was greeted by a fleet of larger ships. Not enemies, but representatives. Leaders from different alien species gathered at Earth for a special meeting. To Marcus's surprise, the Teleran High Council had come. He remembered the stories Cora told, how the council had vanished when their homeworld was attacked. Everyone thought they were dead, but now they stood in the center of Earth's Unity Hall, tall and proud, their robes glowing with soft blue light. The leader, an elder named Elion, had kind eyes and a calm voice. Saved our future, he said to Marcus. When hope was lost, you gave it back. Marcus shook his head humbly. I only did what I had to do. No, Elion said. You did more. You protected our children when even we could not. And for that, we owe you a gift greater than rank or money. The room grew quiet. Even the humans stood still. Elion stepped forward and held out a crystal. It shimmered like it held the light of 1,000 stars. This is a legacy stone, he said. It contains the knowledge, memory, and honor of the Teleron people. We offer it only to those who become one of us. Marcus took the crystal gently, feeling a strange warmth flow through his hand. Visions rushed through his mind, beautiful forests, songs, stories, dreams of a people that had almost been forgotten. In that moment, something changed inside him. He wasn't just a human who helped alien children. He was now part of their legacy. Earthfleet agreed to host a new home for the Teleran children, a sanctuary where they could grow, learn, and be safe. Marcus was asked to stay and lead as their protector, teacher, and guide. He accepted without hesitation. A few weeks later, a ceremony was held in Earth's Grand Assembly. Marcus stood tall in a new uniform, part Earthfleet, part Teleran. The children stood with him, proud and strong. One by one, they were called by name. Each was given a place in the new world. Each was given hope. Then came Cora's turn. She stepped forward, confident and graceful. Captain Reyes looked at her and smiled. You've shown strength beyond your years. What do you want to become? Cora turned toward Marcus. I want to be like him, she said. Marcus blinked back tears. In all his years of service, he had never felt this proud. After the ceremony, Rin came running up, his datapad glowing. Marcus, the ship's ready. They named it after you, Marcus laughed. Really? What did they call it? Rin grinned wide. The Guardian of Stars. As the sun set over Earth's oceans, Marcus stood with his new family. Looking at the sky, he had come to Talara Prime as a lost soldier. Now, he was a legend, not for winning battles with weapons, but for protecting life with courage, heart, and love. And that was the greatest victory of all. Years passed. The jungle moon of Talara Prime had grown quiet. The machines were long gone. Flowers had returned to the valleys and birds sang again in the treetops. But the stories of that dark time were not forgotten, because legends never die. And one name lived on across the stars, Marcus Hale, as the human who protected the forgotten, who gave hope to the hopeless. Now, stood aboard the bridge of the Guardian of Stars, the very ship named in his honor. The children he once protected were no longer small or scared. They were grown, strong and wise leaders in their own right. Cora, now a young ambassador, stood beside him. She wore a long blue coat with the crest of Earth and Talara combined. Her voice carried strength, but her heart still held the kindness of the girl who once picked berries in the jungle. "We've been invited to the Galactic Peace Summit," she said, handing Marcus a silver datapad. He raised an eyebrow. "Let me guess. More speeches? More handshakes?" She smiled. "And more people who need to hear your story?" Marcus chuckled softly. "I thought I was just a soldier." "You're more than that," Cora said. "You showed the galaxy what humanity truly is, not just strong, but compassionate." Marcus looked out the window as stars drifted past. Ships from many worlds moved in peace across the skies. Earth fleet and Teleron vessels flew side by side. It was a vision he never thought he would see in his lifetime. Later that evening, he visited the memorial garden on the ship. It was quiet and filled with trees, flowers, and a small fountain that glowed with blue light. In the center stood a statue not of him, but of the children from Tellera Prime. Around the base were names. Names of those who had survived, and names of those who hadn't. He placed his hand gently on the stone. "We didn't forget you," he whispered. Behind him, Rin walked in, now taller, wearing an engineer's badge on his chest. He held something wrapped in cloth. "I've been working on this for a while," Rin said. He unwrapped the cloth and revealed a small Cuba memory crystal. Inside it, light swirled like a galaxy. "It holds everything. The jungle, the battle, your words, our story," Rin explained. Marcus smiled, deeply touched. "It belongs to all of us." "Maybe," Rin said, "but without you there wouldn't be a story at all." That night, Marcus sat in his quarters and looked through old photos, some real, some holograms. He saw a younger version of himself, tired and broken, holding a flare gun in a jungle cave. He saw Cora holding a rock like a weapon, saw laughter around a small campfire. He realized something important. He hadn't saved the children. They had saved him. The next morning, as Guardian of Stars entered the space station orbiting Unity Prime, people gathered to welcome them. News channels, officials, children from different worlds all had come to meet the human who had risked everything for a group of alien kids. As Marcus stepped out of the ship, cheers filled the air. Cameras flashed, flags waved, but he didn't raise his hands. He didn't smile for the cameras. Instead, he looked at the children. Now Leader Zan smiled at them. They were the real heroes. And deep down, Marcus Hale knew that no medal, no speech, and no monument could ever match the reward he had already received. A family born of courage, future shaped by hope, and a place where love defeated fear. In every corner of the galaxy, from dusty outposts to glowing cities, the story was told again and again. A human risked his life for alien children and received an extraordinary reward. And every time it was told, someone somewhere believed a little more in the goodness of mankind, because in the darkest jungle of a forgotten moon, humanity had shined the brightest.